The emergency alarm echoed through the halls of the Galactic Council ship. Ambassador Taemin ran down the metal corridor, his boots clicking against the floor. He had never heard the alarm this loud before. Something was very wrong. The bridge doors opened with a soft hiss. Inside, dozens of aliens from different worlds worked at glowing screens. Their faces showed worry and fear. In the center of the room, a large screen flickered with static. "Ambassador Taemin, thank goodness you are here," said Council Leader Hyojin. She was tall and thin, with silver skin that changed colors when she was upset. Right now her skin was dark purple. This meant she was very scared. "What is happening?" Taemin asked. He walked to the command chair and looked at the screen. "We have an emergency call from the Villani homeworld," Hyojin said. Her voice shook a little. "They are asking for help. They say something terrible is killing their people." Taemin had never seen the Villani panic before. They were a proud race of reptile people. They had green scales and yellow eyes. They were known for being calm and smart. If they were scared, the problem must be very bad. "Put them through," Taemin said. The screen cleared. A Villani face appeared. His scales were pale, almost white. His eyes darted back and forth like he was looking for danger. Behind him, Taemin could see other Villani running and shouting. "This is Prime Minister Kyung-soo of Villani Prime," the reptile said. His voice was rough and tired. "We need help. We need help right now." "What is wrong, Prime Minister?" Taemin asked. He tried to keep his voice calm. "It came from nowhere," Kyung-soo said. 6 months ago, we saw it for the first time. We thought it was just an animal, a big predator from our planet's deep forests. But we were wrong. So very wrong." The screen shook as something exploded in the background. Kyung-soo looked over his shoulder, then back at the camera. "It is not just an animal," he continued. "It thinks, it plans. It knows exactly how to hurt us the most. We call it the Shadow Stalker." Hyojin leaned forward. "Can you describe this creature?" "It is like a living shadow," Kyung-soo said. "Sometimes it looks solid. Sometimes it looks like smoke. It can walk through walls. Our weapons pass right through it. But when it wants to touch something, it can. When it wants to kill, it kills." Taemin felt his stomach drop. A creature that could phase through matter was dangerous enough. One that was intelligent was terrifying. "How many people have you lost?" Taemin asked. "Thousands," Kyung-soo whispered. "It destroyed our outer colonies first. We thought it was random. But then it came for our mining stations. Then our power plants. It knows exactly what to attack to hurt us the most." "What about your military?" Hyojin asked. "Gone," Kyung-soo said. "All gone. We sent our best soldiers. The creature killed them all. It moves like the wind. It appears behind you before you can turn around. Bullets go through it like air. Energy weapons do nothing. It can heal from any wound in seconds." The screen showed scenes of destruction, broken buildings, burned vehicles, empty streets covered in green blood. Taemin had seen many wars, but this looked different. This looked like a massacre. "We have tried everything," Kyung-soo continued. "Poison gas, nuclear weapons, orbital bombardment. Nothing works. The creature gets stronger. It gets smarter. It learns from every attack." "Where is it now?" Taemin asked. "We do not know," Kyung-soo said. "It disappears for days. Then it shows up somewhere new. Last week it destroyed our main hospital. Yesterday it attacked our food processing center. Our people are starving. They are dying. We have maybe 2 months before our civilization collapses." Hyojin looked at Taemin. They both knew what this meant. The Galactic Council had rules about helping member worlds. But sometimes the normal rules were not enough. "What do you want us to do?" Taemin asked. "Send us your best warrior," Kyung-soo said. "Send us someone who can kill this thing. We have heard stories about human soldiers. They say humans can solve problems that no other species can solve. They say humans never give up." Taemin thought for a moment. The Council had many great warriors from many worlds. But if the Villani specifically wanted a human, there was only one choice. "I know someone," Taemin said, "but he is expensive, and he works alone." "We will pay anything," Kyung-soo said. "Gold, rare metals, technology, anything." "His name is Jinwoo Park," Taemin said. "He used to be a soldier on Earth. Now he solves problems for the Galactic Council." "Difficult problems. Impossible problems," Hyojin nodded. She had heard of Jinwoo Park. All the council leaders had. He was the human who ended the Zeta Rebellion without firing a single shot. He was the one who solved the mineral wars by finding a new trade route. He always found ways to win that no one else could think of. Can he kill the Shadow Stalker? Kyung-soo asked. If anyone can, he can, Taemin said. But I must warn you. Jin-woo Park does not always solve problems the way people expect. He thinks differently than other warriors. I do not care how he does it, Kyung-soo said. I just want my people to live. The connection ended. The screen went dark. Taemin and Hyojin stood in silence for a moment. Are you sure about this? Hyojin asked. Jin-woo Park has a reputation for being unpredictable. That is exactly why he might succeed where others have failed, Taemin said. The Villani have tried every normal solution. Maybe they need an abnormal one. Send the message, Hyojin said. But warn Captain Park about what he is facing. This creature sounds like nothing we have encountered before. Taemin nodded and walked to the communication station. He began typing a message to Jin-woo Park. As he wrote, he wondered if he was sending the human to save the Villani people or to die with them. 3 hours later, Jin-woo Park sent his reply. It was short and simple. I accept the mission. Preparing to leave for Villani Prime. We'll need all available data on the target. Payment can wait until after the job is done. Jin-woo. Taemin smiled. This was why humans were so valuable to the Galactic Council. They did not ask about the danger. They did not worry about the odds. They just said yes and got to work. But as he prepared the data files about the Shadow Stalker, Taemin felt worried. The creature had killed thousands of trained Villani soldiers. What could one human do that an entire army could not? He hoped Jin-woo Park was as good as everyone said. Because if he failed, the Villani civilization would die, and the galaxy would lose one of its oldest and wisest member species. The message was sent. Now all they could do was wait and hope. Jin-woo Park stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at Villani Prime through the window. The planet should have been beautiful. It had green forests and blue oceans, but something felt wrong. The colors looked sick. The forests looked like they were dying. The air readings are strange, Captain, said So Young, his pilot. She was a small woman with short black hair and quick hands. She had been flying ships since she was 16. The oxygen levels keep changing. The temperature is not stable. What about radiation? Jin-woo asked. Normal level, said Dong-ho from the communication station. He was tall and thin, with glasses that he pushed up his nose when he was thinking. But the electromagnetic readings are crazy. Something down there is putting out a lot of energy. Jin-woo studied the data on his screen. In his years as a soldier and then as a problem solver, he had learned to trust his feelings. Right now, his feelings told him this mission was not what it seemed. Take us down to the main city, he said. But stay ready to leave quickly. The ship landed at the Villani capital spaceport. The place was almost empty. Usually, alien spaceports were busy with ships coming and going. This one felt like a ghost town. 3 Villani soldiers met them at the landing pad. Their scales were dull and their eyes kept looking at the sky. They moved like they expected to be attacked at any moment. Captain Park, said the lead soldier. His name was Woo Jin. Prime Minister Kyung-soo is waiting for you. Please follow us. Stay close. Do not wander off alone. They walked through empty streets toward the government building. Jin-woo noticed that all the windows were covered with metal sheets. The few Villani people he saw moved quickly and quietly. Children stayed close to their parents. When did you last see the Shadow Stalker? Jin-woo asked. 3 days ago, Woo Jin said. It destroyed a water treatment plant on the north side of the city. 12 workers died. The plant cannot be repaired. Did anyone see how it attacked? Only one person survived, Woo Jin said. She said the creature came through the wall like smoke. Then it became solid and started killing. She hid in a storage room. When she came out, everyone else was dead. They entered the government building through an underground tunnel. The building above ground was too dangerous. The Shadow Stalker had attacked it twice before. Prime Minister Kyung-soo waited in a deep underground room. He looked much worse than he had on the video call. His scales were almost white and his hands shook when he moved. Captain Park, he said. Thank you for coming. I hope you can save us. Tell me everything, Jin-woo said. Start from the beginning. Kyung-soo led him to a wall covered with maps and pictures. 6 months ago, we started a new terraforming project. We wanted to make more land for our people to live on. We began changing the soil and the water in the outer regions. Jin-woo studied the maps. Red marks showed where the Shadow Stalker had attacked. These are all places connected to your terraforming project. Yes, Kyung-soo said. At first we thought it was just bad luck. But now we see the pattern. The creature attacks our industrial sites first. Then it goes after our people. Has anyone tried to communicate with it? The Villani leader looked confused. Communicate? It is a monster. A killing machine. You cannot talk to something like that. Jinwoo had heard this before. Many species saw dangerous things as just enemies to be destroyed. But in his experience, intelligent creatures usually had reasons for what they did. I want to see the attack sites, he said. All of them. That is too dangerous, Kyung-soo said. The creature could be anywhere. It could attack without warning. That is a risk I have to take, Jinwoo said. I cannot fight something I do not understand. They gave him a vehicle and weapons. Jinwoo chose to go alone, despite the Villani protests. So Young and Dong-ho would stay with the ship and monitor his communications. The first attack site was a mining facility in the eastern mountains. The place looked like a bomb had gone off. But Jinwoo noticed something strange. The destruction was very selective. The creature had destroyed all the mining equipment, but it had left the worker housing untouched. It had broken the machines, but it had not damaged the natural rock formations around them. The second site was a chemical processing plant. Again, the damage was precise. The creature had destroyed only the parts that changed the planet's environment. It had left everything else alone. At the third site, Jinwoo found something interesting. In the soft ground near a destroyed terraforming machine, he saw tracks. They were not animal tracks. They looked almost like handprints, but much larger, and they seemed to change shape as he looked at them. The sun was setting when Jinwoo reached the fourth attack site. This one was different. It was a research station that had been studying the planet's ecosystem. The building was completely destroyed, but the research data was still there. Someone or something had carefully saved it. Jinwoo was reading through the research files when he felt a change in the air. The temperature dropped. The wind stopped blowing. Even the insects went quiet. He looked up and saw it. The shadow stalker stood 30 meters away, watching him. It was bigger than he had expected, maybe 3 meters tall. Its body seemed to be made of dark smoke that moved like water. Sometimes he could see through it. Sometimes it looked solid. The most striking thing was its eyes. It had 6 of them arranged in pairs across its head. They glowed with a soft blue light, and they were looking right at him with obvious intelligence. Jinwoo did something that surprised even himself. Instead of reaching for his weapon, he sat down on the ground. He made himself as non-threatening as possible and waited. The creature tilted its head like a curious animal. It moved closer, but slowly. Its body shifted between solid and gas as it walked. Jinwoo could feel power radiating from it like heat from a fire. For 20 minutes, they stared at each other. Jinwoo kept very still. The shadow stalker circled him, studying him from different angles. Several times it reached toward him with one of its long appendages, but always stopped just short of touching. Then, without warning, it was gone. One moment it was there. The next moment, Jinwoo was alone in the growing darkness. He sat there for another hour, thinking about what had happened. The creature could have killed him easily, but it had chosen not to. It had been curious about him just as he was curious about it. As he walked back to his vehicle, Jinwoo realized something important. The shadow stalker was not just a mindless killer. It was intelligent. It made choices, and that meant it could possibly be reasoned with. But first he needed to understand what it wanted and why it was so angry with the Villani terraforming project. The research files might have the answer. Jinwoo returned to his ship as the sun came up. So Young and Dong-ho were waiting for him in the main cabin. They looked worried and tired. "Captain, we lost contact with you for 3 hours," So Young said. "We were ready to come looking for you." "I am fine," Jinwoo said. He sat down at the table and spread out the research files he had found. "But I need to show you something interesting." Dong-ho looked at the papers. "What are these?" "Research data from the planet's ecosystem," Jinwoo said. The Villani were studying the planet before they started terraforming. "Look at this." He pointed to a chart showing the planet's food chain. At the top was a creature labeled as Unknown Apex Predator. The description was short but detailed. "Listen to this," Jinwoo read. "Subject appears to have unique relationship with planetary ecosystem. Electromagnetic readings suggest possible telepathic connection to plant and animal life. Recommend further study before beginning terraforming operations." So Young frowned. "But they started terraforming anyway." "Yes," Jinwoo said. And look when the attack started. He showed them a timeline. The Shadow Stalker appeared exactly 1 week after the terraforming began. Dong Ho pushed his glasses up his nose. You think the terraforming woke it up? Maybe, Jinwoo said. Or maybe it made the creature angry. Look at what the terraforming project was doing. He showed them more documents. The Vellani plan was to change the planet's soil chemistry. They wanted to make it better for growing their food crops. They also planned to redirect rivers and cut down large areas of forest. This would destroy the natural ecosystem. So Young said, everything that lived here before would die. Exactly, Jinwoo said. And if the Shadow Stalker is connected to the ecosystem, it would feel that destruction like physical pain. Dong Ho was studying the electromagnetic readings from Jinwoo's encounter with the creature. Captain, look at these patterns. They are not random. They repeat in sequences. What kind of sequences? I think they might be attempts at communication, Dong Ho said. He connected his equipment to the ship's computer. Let me run this through our translation programs. While Dong Ho worked, Jinwoo and So Young studied the attack patterns more carefully. They made a map showing every place the Shadow Stalker had struck. Look at this, So Young said. The creature never attacks living areas. Only industrial sites. Only places that hurt the environment. And it always destroys the machines first, Jinwoo added. It kills people only when they try to stop it from destroying the machines. Dong Ho looked up from his computer. I have something. The electromagnetic patterns from your encounter. They are definitely structured like language. Can you translate them? Not yet, Dong Ho said. But I can see mathematical relationships. Repeated phrases. This creature was trying to tell you something. Jinwoo thought about his encounter with the Shadow Stalker. The way it had circled him. The way it had reached toward him but not touched. The way it had studied him. It was testing me, he said. Trying to figure out if I was different from the other humans and Vellani it had seen. Different how? So Young asked. I think it wanted to know if I would listen to it instead of just trying to kill it. Dong Ho made an excited noise. Captain, I found something else. The research station you visited. It was not destroyed randomly. The creature saved all the data about the planet's original ecosystem. It left the files where someone would find them. Jinwoo felt pieces of a puzzle clicking together in his mind. The Shadow Stalker is not just killing randomly. It is trying to preserve its world. The attacks are not about killing people. They are about stopping the terraforming. But why not just communicate normally? So Young asked. Why all the violence? Maybe it tried, Jinwoo said. Maybe the Vellani did not understand, so it got more and more desperate. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside he could see Vellani workers loading supplies onto trucks. They moved quickly and nervously, always watching the sky. Dong Ho, can you create a communication device using these electromagnetic patterns? Maybe, Dong Ho said. It would be basic, like talking with simple words and pictures. But yes, I think I can build something. Do it, Jinwoo said. So Young, I need you to find samples of the planet's original plants and animals. Things that existed before the terraforming started. What are you planning, Captain? So Young asked. I am going to try to talk to the Shadow Stalker, Jinwoo said. Really talk to it, not just observe it. That is very dangerous, So Young said. Everything about this mission is dangerous, Jinwoo replied. But I think the creature is more afraid than angry. It is watching its entire world die. If someone was destroying Earth, what would you do? So Young nodded slowly. I would fight back. I would try to stop them. Exactly, Jinwoo said. The Shadow Stalker is not a monster. It is a desperate guardian trying to save its home. Over the next 2 days, they prepared. Dong Ho built a communication device using electromagnetic pulses. It was crude, but it could send simple messages. So Young collected samples of native plants and animals from areas that had not been terraformed yet. Jinwoo also studied everything he could find about the planet's history. He learned that Vellani Prime had been a living world for millions of years. It had complex ecosystems with thousands of interconnected species. The terraforming project would change all of that in just a few decades. The Vellani see this as progress, Jinwoo said to his crew. But the Shadow Stalker sees it as genocide. The extinction of everything it has protected for thousands of years. So what is the solution? Dong Ho asked. The Vellani need this planet to survive. Their old homeworld is overpopulated. Maybe there is a way for both species to survive, Jinwoo said. Maybe they do not have to destroy the ecosystem to live here. But first I have to convince the Shadow Stalker that not all outsiders are enemies. On the third morning, Jinwoo prepared for his second encounter with the creature. This time he carried the communication device and a bag of native plant samples. He also brought something else, a small recording device with sounds of Earth's forests. If this creature is connected to its planet's ecosystem, he told his crew, maybe showing it that other worlds also have life will help it understand that we are not all destroyers. So Young looked worried. What if it attacks you this time? Then you leave immediately and report back to the Galactic Council, Jinwoo said. Tell them what we learned. Maybe someone else can find a better solution. But as Jinwoo drove toward the meeting site, he felt hopeful for the first time since arriving on Vellani Prime. The Shadow Stalker was intelligent. It cared about its world. Those were things he could work with. The question was whether the creature would give him a chance to prove that he wanted to help, not harm. Jinwoo arrived at the destroyed mining facility just as the sun reached its highest point. The metal wreckage looked worse in the bright daylight. Twisted machines lay scattered across the ground like broken bones. He parked his vehicle far from the destruction and walked forward slowly. In his left hand, he carried the communication device Dong-ho had built. In his right hand, he held a bag containing samples of the planet's original plants. The air felt thick and strange. Jinwoo could sense electricity in the atmosphere, like the feeling before a lightning storm. His skin tingled and the hair on his arms stood up. Then the temperature dropped 10 degrees in just a few seconds. The Shadow Stalker emerged from what looked like solid rock. One moment there was nothing, the next moment the creature stood 20 meters away. This time it looked more solid than before, but its edges still flickered like flames. Jinwoo could see that it was agitated. Its 6 eyes glowed brighter than during their first meeting. Its body shifted rapidly between gas and solid states. The electromagnetic readings on his device went crazy. Very slowly, Jinwoo sat down on the ground. He placed the communication device in front of him and opened the bag of plant samples. The native flowers and leaves were still fresh. Their smell filled the air. The Shadow Stalker stopped moving. Its eyes focused on the plants. For the first time, its form became completely stable. It looked solid and real. Jinwoo activated the communication device. It made soft beeping sounds based on the electromagnetic patterns they had recorded. He hoped the message was simple. I want to talk. The creature tilted its head, just as it had during their first meeting. Then it responded. The device picked up complex electromagnetic pulses. Dong-ho's translation program tried to make sense of them. The small screen on the device showed simple symbols and words. Why? Different. Not attack. Jinwoo felt his heart racing. It was working. The creature was actually trying to communicate with him. He selected a response on the device. I want to understand. The Shadow Stalker moved closer. Its appendages reached toward the plant samples but stopped just short of touching them. Jinwoo could see sadness in its glowing eyes. The device translated its next message. Dying. All dying. Poison in ground. Poison in water. Jinwoo nodded and pointed to the destroyed mining equipment around them. This machine poisoned your world? Yes. Many machines. Kill everything. Change everything. The creature's form became less stable as it grew more upset. Jinwoo could feel waves of electromagnetic energy coming from it. On his device, words appeared faster. Tried to tell them. Tried to warn. They would not listen. Had to stop them. How long have you tried to warn them? Jinwoo asked through the device. Many seasons. Showed them sick plants. Showed them dead animals. They ignored. Kept building. Kept poisoning. Jinwoo felt a chill that had nothing to do with the creature's presence. The Shadow Stalker had been trying to communicate with the Vellani for months. The attacks had been a last resort, not a first choice. Can you show me? Jinwoo asked. Show me what the planet was like before? The Shadow Stalker paused. Then it extended one of its long appendages toward Jinwoo. The tip glowed with soft blue light. Touch. The device translated. Show you. But might hurt. Jinwoo had faced many dangers in his life. But reaching out to touch an alien creature that could phase through matter was still frightening. He took a deep breath and extended his hand. The moment their skin touched, Jinwoo's world exploded with sensation. Images flooded his mind. He saw the planet as it had been just 1 year ago. Vast forests filled with trees that glowed softly in the dark, rivers that sparkled with pure water, animals he had never imagined, living in perfect balance with plants that seemed almost intelligent themselves. He saw the Shadow Stalker as it truly was, not a monster but a guardian, connected to every living thing on the planet through some kind of biological network. It could feel the health of every tree, every flower, every small creature. Then the images changed. Jinwoo saw the terraforming begin. Machines pumped chemicals into the soil. The chemicals killed the microscopic life that all other life depended on. Trees began dying from their roots upward. Animals fled or starved. The biological network that connected everything started breaking apart. Through the Shadow Stalker's senses, Jinwoo felt what it was like to experience the death of an entire world. It was like having parts of his own body cut away one piece at a time. The creature showed him its first attempts to communicate with the Villani. It had tried to approach their workers peacefully, but they had shot at it with energy weapons. When the weapons passed harmlessly through its phased form, they had called for military backup. Jinwoo saw the Shadow Stalker's growing desperation as more and more of its world died. Finally, it had started destroying the terraforming equipment. But even then, it had tried not to hurt the Villani people. It only killed when they attacked it first. "I understand," Jinwoo said when the visions ended. His voice was hoarse and his eyes were wet with tears. "You are trying to save your family. This whole planet is your family." "Yes," the device translated. "All connected, all one. When they die, I die. But the Villani need somewhere to live too," Jinwoo said carefully. "Their old world is too crowded." The Shadow Stalker's form flickered with distress. "Know this. Feel their pain too. But cannot let them kill everything. Cannot let them make this world dead like their old world." Jinwoo thought about what he had seen in the visions. The Villani homeworld had once been green and alive, just like this planet. But they had used it up. They had covered it with cities and factories until nothing natural remained. "What if there was another way?" Jinwoo asked. "What if the Villani could live here without killing your world?" "How?" the creature asked. "They only know how to take, how to change, how to destroy." Jinwoo stood up slowly. The Shadow Stalker stepped back, but it did not disappear. "Some humans have learned to live with nature instead of fighting it," Jinwoo said. "We made mistakes on our world too. But we learned to do better. Maybe the Villani can learn too." He activated a recording on his device. Sounds of Earth's forests filled the air. Birds singing. Water flowing. Wind in the trees. The Shadow Stalker became very still, listening. "Your world sounds like mine did," the device translated. "Before the poison. Before the death. Earth is still alive," Jinwoo said. "We almost killed it. Like the Villani almost killed their world. But we stopped in time. We found ways to live that did not destroy everything else." For the first time since the conversation began, the Shadow Stalker's electromagnetic signature showed something like hope. "You would help?" it asked. "Help find new way?" "I will try," Jinwoo promised. "But you have to trust me, and you have to stop killing the Villani. Give me time to convince them." The creature was quiet for a long moment. Jinwoo could see it thinking, processing what he had said. Finally, the device showed its answer. "We'll try. But if they start big machines again, if they pour more poison, I must stop them." "I understand," Jinwoo said. "Just give me a chance." The Shadow Stalker began to fade, becoming more transparent. But before it disappeared completely, it left something behind. A small crystal that glowed with the same blue light as its eyes. "Call me." The device translated the creature's final message. "When ready to try new way, use crystal. I will come." Then Jinwoo was alone among the wreckage, holding a crystal that might be the key to saving two species. Jinwoo returned to the Villani capital with his mind full of everything the Shadow Stalker had shown him. The crystal in his pocket felt warm, like it was alive. Every few minutes it pulsed with soft blue light. Prime Minister Kyung-soo was waiting in the underground command center with a dozen other Villani leaders. They all looked at Jinwoo with hopeful eyes. "Did you find the creature?" Kyung-soo asked. "Were you able to kill it?" "I found it," Jinwoo said. "But I did not kill it, and I do not think you want me to." The room went very quiet. Several Villani leaders stood up from their chairs, their scales changing to angry red colors. "What do you mean?" asked Defense Minister Hae-jin. She was older than the others, with scars on her neck from some old battle. "That monster has killed thousands of our people. The Shadow Stalker is not a monster, Jinwoo said. He placed his communication device on the table. It is the guardian of this planet's ecosystem, and it has been trying to talk to you for months. Talk to us? Kyung-soo laughed, but there was no humor in the sound. It destroyed our colonies. It killed our workers. That is not talking. It destroyed your terraforming equipment, Jinwoo corrected. It killed people only when they attacked it first. And it saved all your research data about the planet's original ecosystem. He activated the device and played back some of the electromagnetic recordings from his conversation with the creature. The Villani leaders listened to the translated messages with growing amazement. This is impossible, said Science Minister Taeho. He was young for a Villani leader, with bright green scales that showed his nervousness. You are saying this creature is intelligent? More than intelligent, Jinwoo said. It is connected to every living thing on this planet. When your terraforming machines poisoned the soil, it felt the pain of every dying plant. When you redirected the rivers, it felt every animal that died of thirst. He told them about his vision, about seeing the planet as it had been before the terraforming. Several of the Villani leaders shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Even if this is true, Defense Minister Hae-jin said, we cannot stop the terraforming. Our people need this planet to survive. Our homeworld is dying. I know, Jinwoo said. The Shadow Stalker knows too. It does not want to hurt your people, but it cannot let you kill its world either. Then what do you suggest? Kyung-soo asked. There has to be a solution. Jinwoo had been thinking about this during his drive back to the city. On Earth, we learned to live with nature instead of fighting it. We found ways to grow food and build cities without destroying everything else. Maybe the same thing can work here. Our terraforming project has been in planning for decades, Science Minister Taeho said. We have invested everything in it. We cannot just start over. You will have to start over anyway if the Shadow Stalker destroys all your equipment, Jinwoo pointed out. But what if it helped you instead of fighting you? The Villani leaders looked at him like he had lost his mind. Help us? Defense Minister Hae-jin said. How could that creature possibly help us? It knows everything about this planet, Jinwoo said. Every plant, every animal, every natural process. With its knowledge, you could build a colony that works with the ecosystem instead of against it. For the next hour, Jinwoo explained his idea. Instead of destroying the planet's natural systems, the Villani could learn to use them. They could grow their food in ways that made the soil healthier. They could build their cities in places that would not disrupt animal migration routes. They could use the planet's own energy systems instead of bringing in outside power sources. This would take much longer than our original plan, Kyung-soo said. But it would work forever, Jinwoo replied. Your current plan will give you maybe 50 years before the ecosystem collapses completely. Then you will need to find another planet. How many worlds do you want to destroy? Some of the leaders looked thoughtful. Others still seemed angry and skeptical. Even if we agreed to this, Defense Minister Hae-jin said, how do we know we can trust this creature? It has already killed so many of our people. Because it agreed to stop attacking if you stop the destructive terraforming, Jinwoo said. He pulled out the crystal. It gave me this, a way to communicate with it. It wants to try. This is madness, said Economic Minister Soo-jin. She had stayed quiet until now, but her scales showed deep worry. We are talking about trusting our entire civilization to an alien monster. You are already trusting your civilization to a terraforming plan that will fail, Jinwoo said. I have seen what happens to planets when their ecosystems collapse. Nothing survives. Not the native life, not the colonists, nothing. The argument continued for hours. Some leaders wanted to try Jinwoo's plan. Others wanted to call in the Galactic Council military to destroy the Shadow Stalker. A few wanted to abandon the planet entirely. Finally, Kyung-soo called for quiet. We will vote, he said. All in favor of trying Captain Park's alliance plan? The vote was close, 7 in favor, 5 against. Jinwoo felt relieved, but he knew the real test was still ahead. Over the next 3 days, Jinwoo worked with So-young and Dong-ho to prepare for the first joint meeting between the Villani and the Shadow Stalker. They chose a location away from any terraforming equipment. They set up communication devices and brought samples of both Villani food plants and native species. Are you sure this will work, Captain? So-young asked as they prepared the meeting site. No, Jinwoo admitted, but it is the only plan that gives both species a chance to survive. Dong-ho was monitoring electromagnetic readings. I am detecting unusual energy patterns. Something big is coming. Jinwoo activated the crystal. Its blue light grew brighter, and he felt a familiar tingling in the air. The Shadow Stalker was responding to his call. A small group of Villani representatives arrived first. Kyung-soo had come personally, along with Science Minister Tae-ho and 2 other officials. They looked nervous but determined. "Remember," Jinwoo told them, "the creature is afraid. It thinks you want to destroy its family. Show it that you want to learn, not conquer." The Shadow Stalker appeared just as the sun was setting. This time its form was more stable than Jinwoo had ever seen it. It looked almost solid, though its edges still flickered with energy. The Villani representative stepped back instinctively, but Kyung-soo held his ground. "Is this really the creature that has been attacking us?" he asked quietly. "Yes," Jinwoo said, "but look at its body language. It is not preparing to attack. It is being cautious, just like you are." Through the communication devices, the Shadow Stalker sent its first message to the Villani leaders. "Why did you poison my home?" The question was simple, but it carried the weight of months of pain and anger. Kyung-soo took a deep breath before answering. "We did not know we were hurting anyone," he said. "We thought this planet was empty of intelligent life." "Not empty," the creature replied. "Full of life. Connected life you could not see because you did not look." Science Minister Tae-ho stepped forward. "Can you teach us to see? Can you show us how to live here without causing harm?" The Shadow Stalker's electromagnetic signature changed, showing something like surprise. "You would learn? You would change your ways? If you help us," Kyung-soo said, "we will try." For the first time since Jinwoo had met it, the Shadow Stalker's form became completely solid and stable. It looked less like a creature of shadow and more like a being of living light. "Then we begin," it said. "We begin now." 3 months later, Jinwoo stood in what had once been a destroyed mining site. Now it was a garden. Villani engineers worked alongside native plants that seemed to grow in impossible patterns. The Shadow Stalker moved between them, its form now completely stable and solid. "The biointegration is working better than we hoped," said Science Minister Tae-ho. He carried a tablet showing environmental readings. "The soil is actually healthier now than it was before we arrived." Jinwoo watched a young Villani child playing with creatures that looked like floating flowers. The native animals no longer feared the colonists. They had learned that these particular aliens were different. "Captain Park," called So Young from the communication station. "We have incoming ships. Multiple vessels, Galactic Council markings." Jinwoo felt his stomach tighten. He had been expecting this visit, but he had hoped for more time to prove the alliance was working. The lead ship landed in the newly constructed spaceport. Unlike the old Villani facilities, this one was built into the natural landscape. Trees grew through the landing platforms, and the buildings looked like they had grown from the ground instead of being placed on top of it. Council leader Hyo-jin emerged from the ship with a full diplomatic escort. Her silver skin showed the purple colors of confusion and worry. Behind her walked Ambassador Tae-min and a dozen other officials from various member worlds. "Captain Park," Hyo-jin said as she approached, "we received some very disturbing reports. The Villani government claims you have made an alliance with the creature that was supposed to eliminate. Is this true?" "It is true," Jinwoo said, "and it is working better than anyone expected." Before Hyo-jin could respond, the Shadow Stalker appeared beside them. The council officials stepped back in alarm, reaching for their weapons. But the creature's body language was calm and welcoming. "Greetings, visitors from distant stars," the creature said through the communication devices. "You are welcome in our shared home." Hyo-jin stared at the Shadow Stalker with wide eyes. "It can speak?" "It has always been able to speak," Jinwoo said. "The Villani just never tried to listen." Ambassador Tae-min stepped forward cautiously. "Captain Park, your mission was to eliminate this creature. Instead, you appear to have befriended it. The Council is very concerned." "The Council should be impressed," said Prime Minister Kyung-soo as he joined the group. "Captain Park has solved a problem that we thought was impossible. Our colony is thriving and no one is dying." "Show them," Jinwoo said to the Shadow Stalker. The creature extended one of its appendages toward Hyo-jin. "May I share visions? Show you what we have built together?" Hyo-jin hesitated, then slowly reached out to touch the creature's glowing appendage. Her eyes went wide as the visions flowed into her mind. She saw the new Villani settlements. Cities that grew like living things, with buildings that cleaned the air instead of polluting it. Farms where Villani crops grew alongside native plants, each species making the other stronger. Power systems that drew energy from the planet's own electromagnetic field without depleting it. She saw Vellani children learning from creatures that had lived on the planet for thousands of years. She saw scientists making discoveries about biology and ecology that would benefit worlds across the galaxy. She saw a future where colonization meant partnership instead of conquest. "This is remarkable," Hyojin whispered when the visions ended. "How long did it take to build all this?" 3 months, Kyung-soo said proudly. "With the Shadow Stalker's help, we can work with the planet instead of fighting it. Everything grows faster, lasts longer, and works better. But surely there must be problems," said Defense Coordinator Wei Ho, a stern alien with gray skin and 4 arms. "What happens when you disagree? What happens if the creature changes its mind?" The Shadow Stalker's electromagnetic signature showed amusement. "We disagree often. Vellani think fast, plan quick. I think slow, plan for many generations. But disagreement leads to better solutions. For example, Science Minister Taeho said, we wanted to build a large spaceport in the Western Valley. The Shadow Stalker showed us that this would block a migration route for flying creatures, so we designed a spaceport that the creatures could fly through safely. The result is better for everyone," the Shadow Stalker added. "Vellani ships land safely, flying creatures travel safely, and the valley ecosystem stays healthy." Ambassador Taemin looked skeptical. "This all sounds too good to be true. What about other colonies? What about planets that do not have cooperative guardians like this creature?" "That is the best part," Jinwoo said. "The Shadow Stalker has been in contact with similar guardians on other worlds. Many planets have protector entities that most species never notice." "It is true," the creature confirmed. "We speak across the stars. We share knowledge. Other guardians want to try this cooperation too." Hyojin's skin shifted to bright yellow, showing excitement. "You are saying this could work on multiple worlds already working?" the Shadow Stalker said. 3 other colonies have contacted me. They want to learn the new ways." Over the next several hours, the council delegation toured the transformed colony. They saw Vellani engineers working with native creatures to build structures that seemed impossible. They watched children from both species playing together in gardens that cleaned polluted water as they grew. They met other Vellani leaders who had initially opposed Jinwoo's plan but now supported it completely. They saw productivity reports showing that the new bio-integrated systems produced more food, more energy, and more living space than the old terraforming methods ever could. "The most amazing thing," said Economic Minister Soo Jin, "is that this approach costs much less than traditional terraforming. When you work with a planet instead of against it, everything becomes easier." As the sun set, the council delegation gathered in the main meeting hall. This building was perhaps the most impressive example of the new cooperation. It had been grown rather than built, with walls made from living trees and a roof that adjusted its transparency based on the weather. "Captain Park," Hyojin said, "I must admit that what you have accomplished here exceeds all expectations. But I have to ask, why did you choose to befriend the creature instead of following your original orders?" Jinwoo thought about the question. "Because I listened," he said simply. "The Shadow Stalker was not acting like a mindless predator. It was acting like someone trying to protect their family. Once I understood that, everything else became clear. Many other species would have simply increased their military response." Ambassador Taemin noted, "That is what makes humans valuable to the Galactic Council," Jinwoo said. "We look for solutions that others might miss. We ask questions that others might not think to ask." The Shadow Stalker had been listening quietly, but now it spoke up. "Humans are curious. Other species often decide quickly and stick to their decisions. Humans keep questioning, keep trying new approaches. This makes them good partners for change." "What do you recommend, Captain Park?" Hyojin asked. "How should the council proceed? Create a new department," Jinwoo said. "A group dedicated to finding cooperative solutions instead of military ones. Send teams to worlds where colonies are struggling. Look for guardian entities that might be trying to communicate. And establish protocols for first contact with planetary guardians," added Science Minister Taeho. "Most species probably encounter these entities and never realize they are intelligent." Hyojin nodded slowly. "This will require significant changes in how the council approaches colonial development." "Good changes," the Shadow Stalker said. "Necessary changes. The old ways lead to dead worlds. The new ways lead to living partnerships." 3 days later, the council delegation prepared to leave. They carried with them detailed reports about the bio-integration techniques, recordings of successful human-guardian communication, and proposals for a new council department. Captain Park, Hyojin said as she prepared to board her ship. The council will want you to head this new department. Will you accept? Jinwoo looked around at the thriving colony, at the Villani and native creatures working together, at the Shadow Stalker standing peacefully among former enemies. I will accept, he said, but I want So Young and Dong Ho as my primary team, and I want the Shadow Stalker as an official council consultant. A non-humanoid council consultant? Ambassador Taemin looked surprised. That would be unprecedented. Good, Jinwoo said. It is time for some precedence. As the council ships departed, Jinwoo stood with the Shadow Stalker watching them disappear into the sky. The creature's form sparkled with contentment. What are you thinking about? Jinwoo asked. The future, the Shadow Stalker replied. For the first time in many years, I can see a future where both guardians and colonists survive, where cooperation replaces conquest. It will not be easy, Jinwoo warned. Many species will resist these changes. All important changes are difficult, the creature said. But difficulty does not mean impossible. You have proven that. So Young joined them, carrying a communication device showing messages from other colonies. Captain, we have 17 requests for assistance already. Apparently word is spreading fast about what we accomplished here. Then we had better get to work, Jinwoo said. As they walked back toward the colony, the Shadow Stalker spoke one more time. Jinwoo Park, you came here to kill me. Instead, you chose to undersing.